Good morning. This is our Road Atlas map class. As you can see, I'm using a 2014 Motor Carriers Road Atlas. It's very important that you do choose a Motor Carrier Road Atlas. There are huge differences in these maps. Also, just look for the truck on the front of it. Mine's a 2014, yours are 2020s. Not much changes in between the maps except for the covers and a little bit of information inside. Nothing that's going to really impede your traffic. It's not like they make new interstates every single day. As we open it up, we've got our table of contents here. This is important information. You know, do I want to know where my on-the-road directory is? Absolutely. Do I want to know road construction and conditions? Absolutely. And I'd go to the orange sections for that. If you find a problem with the map atlas, you can tell Rand. As we turn the page, we've got hazardous materials. So if you're carrying a hazmat load, this is information that you want to know. The registration, your training, your shipping papers. What happens if you get into an accident using hazmat? This is the little cheat sheet right here of what your placards are going to be. Also, your bill of lading will have this information on there. And on the side over here, it'll say hazardous materials, tips and tricks. Here's your incident response. This is page A4. Your incident prevention and response. Loading and unloading your incidents. Reporting the incident. And what to carry in your cab. Look, you've got to have your shipping papers. You've got to have a copy of your certificate of registration, gloves, absorbent materials, and your carriage by public information. All of this information is there. We've got emergency response numbers, got anti-terrorist tips. You might want to know that. You know, don't you want to know if some guy is carrying a truckload of fertilizer next to you? Next page over is your tractor trailer inspection procedure. And if you look at this really closely, it's going to show you exactly what we've been teaching you. This is guiding it out step by step. And let me just zoom it in. So the front of the cab, what are you looking for? You're looking for the condition of the front axle, the steering systems, the condition of the windshield, and the lights and the reflectors. Look, you're checking all your parking lights, your clearance lights, your identification lights, clean, operating, and proper color. The reflectors should be clean and proper color. Right turn signal, left signal light should be clean, operating. Now, this is a 2014, so new standards are you have to identify all lights. So, and I apologize for the shaking camera. Not used to doing this. Here's a better view of the truck. It's all stepped out. Here's the front of the truck. Steps 1, 2, and 3. How you walk it back, 4 through 16, and just keep on going back. Coincides with all of these numbers. When we get back to school, you guys will be doing your pre-trip inspection. I'll give you a couple of days. And then we're testing. All right. If you're an owner-operator, fuel tax is pretty important information that you'd want to know about. And these have changed because this is an old book, okay? So if we take Missouri and you just follow that all the way over, They charge 17 cents per gallon in Missouri. And then there's your phone number. But if you're fueling and you're going down this list, Missouri is 17 cents. But if you come all the way up here towards the top right here, they're charging 11 cents. What state is this? Indiana. So if I'm traveling between Missouri and Indiana, could I save some money and maybe fuel in Indiana instead? Absolutely. Or if I have to, I'll buy less fuel in Missouri. Next page is a motor carriers program. And this is just some general information that you'd want to know as a truck driver, especially if you're an owner-operator. You definitely want to know information on this page. I'm going to turn the page. Mexican and Canadian regulations, not so much. Some information, especially if you're going to cross the borders. Road construction and conditions, absolutely. Typically, we're going to call 511, and I believe every single state offers 511 now. Back when this book was printed in 2014, Alabama, Missouri, Mississippi, Arkansas, California, definitely not. They did not share information. 511 is if you're shut down for a snowstorm, you call 511 and it'll ask you what major interstate you're on or what roadway you want to know. And it's going to walk you through the steps on how to check the road conditions. If you've got time, call Florida 511 and it will walk you through there. Now, the beauty of 511 is if you're on the state line, let's say Evanston, Wyoming to Utah, it will actually discern whether you're in Wyoming or Utah. In some of the states, especially, let's say, Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, they will ask you what state you want. Do you want Kansas or do you want Missouri? All right, we're going to go over here to on this road resources, hotel and motel numbers. I didn't ever really find that part useful. I just used Google Maps and Earth and pulled up where I was going to stop in the country and tried to see if there was hotels that were truck friendly. Again, I didn't stay in a lot of Motel 6s. Down here at the bottom, sorry, I was zooming in on the wrong thing. This is our area codes. If we come down here to Florida, you can actually see all the area codes that we have. So you can, if you're looking at your bill of lading and you see your area code is 904, you know you're probably going to be going to Jacksonville. Same thing if you've got 305 or 786, you know you're going to be going to the Miami area. This is useful if you've got little cities or towns, let's say Healy Gardens would you know where that's at? Not necessarily, but if you look at your phone number to the customer, you can come right here. You know it's in Florida. Oh, look, it's right here, 754. Okay, and then they've got some cutouts here of New Jersey and New York. Down on the bottom, there's a little bit of extra information there. I'm going to turn the page and zoom the camera back out. Sorry about the dog and the cat. We've got state access policies. These are really important that you want to know. This is your access routes. I've got Connecticut highlighted. Look, you're allowed to go off your distance allowed in miles from national network. That national network is your interstate system. You're allowed 1 mile from the interstate system. Access beyond 1 mile is permitted by letter of permission. And this includes a 53-foot trailer. For more information, you're going to go onto their website. If we come down here to Idaho, it says see comment. You're allowed 1 mile road access for food, fuel, repair, rest facilities, and terminals. So in Idaho, it is a $500 fine if you're caught on an unapproved road. This is very, very important information that you want to have. Over here we have access routes. It just gives you some general information. Not every state has this information here. Sorry about that. Our next page is longer combination vehicles. Down here you see our standard vehicle, which is what you guys are going to be driving. We've got Rocky Mountain doubles. This is 45 and 48 foot trailers. There's 2 of them. It could have a pup trailer on there along with a 48 foot. A pup trailer is generally 26 to 29 foot. It's like what we have out on the range. The triples are 3 pup trailers. These are legal in 17 states, and a pup trailer, again, is 26 to 29 feet. And then we have doubles, turnpike doubles. And you'll see those in, they're legal in 18 states, and it's usually 2 45 to 48 foot trailers. There are some out there that carry 53s. You're going to see these only on the turnpikes. Their transfer stations are on the turnpikes for all of these. And again, up here, if you look, it's just giving you some information about what they can consider a double or triple trailers, what permits are required, and the comments areas. Again, if you're going to be carrying doubles and triples, you need to have this information. This page is national weight and size provisions. So if we come down here to Florida, oh, sorry, I didn't zoom it in. Florida's allowed, our width is 102, and that's a standard issue truck trailer. That's how wide we are. Our standard height is 13.6 and 53 foot trailer. 28 foot is our full trailer, not specified for doubles and triples. If we come over here to our axle weights, Florida is 22,000 pounds on a single axle, 44,000 on your tandems, and your gross is 80,000. Again, those are pretty standard information. We've got some just general information about the symbols down here at the bottom. Next page is the weight limits and sizes and our bridge formulas. Don't worry about so much about your bridge formulas right now. That'll be a separate class. Next page over, and we're on A16. This is weight and size limits, and this is divided down to the states. And if we come to Florida, our axle, steering axle, it's not specified. Let's make sure. I'm allowed 27,000 pounds on a single axle, 44,000 on my tandems, and 80,000 on my gross. My width is 102 and my height is 116. Again, it just gives you more information in a different format. Always double check. This is just a continuation of that page. This next page is your state contact information. Let's say you have a question about permitting. This is where you would go. Your vehicle registration. If you want to be an owner-operator, this is where you're going to get your information of where to pull up your DOT numbers, how to assign it. Next page over is your police numbers. You've heard me say that I've had to call the police on myself several times. I always used my book, or a couple of times when I was in Chicago, I had to just use the Google to get the police there to assist me to back out into traffic. Overweight and oversize. This page is just going to give you some information, and I'm just zooming it out so you can see it. The state, the phone numbers, the websites, and again, another fax number and their comments. Most states are going to be 5 cents per pound. Hazardous material information, again, radioactive material, hazmat spill reporting, kind of important if you're hauling hazmat. As we start going over into the red section, we left the orange. This orange was information. Red is information about your states. It's going to include the low clearance, permanent way station, and restricted routes. On the restricted routes, whenever you're trip planning, you really want to come into this area of the book and underneath each state. And you're going to pull up the low weight bridges, low clearances. If there's tunnels, it will be restricted. If it's unsafe for year-round traffic. So each state, low clearance, permanent way stations, and restrictions. All these roads are restrictions, and it comes over here to the second column. You kind of want to know this as you're going through each state. If we come to Florida, right here, Florida's statutory height is 13.6. Let me zoom this in, sorry. First, we want to come back up here, Florida. See state and city maps. They're going to be page 26 and 27. And the star locates on the city map. The half crescent moon is page 24, and the diamond is page 25. So as we come down to the low clearance, our statutory height is 13.6. And if it's in bold, it's going to be 13.6 or less in clearance. So all of these roads are low clearance. This gives the height, 13.6. Can we get through there? Possibly. I'd be calling if I was going to go down here to Miami, over to the Miami Canal, just to make sure they haven't repaved the surface and that the height is still 13.6. And I'm going to find that at the diamond on M4. What do I know the diamond? I'm going to come back up here, and that's going to be page 25, and it's going to tell me what's really going on. Permanent way stations here. It lists the roadway. I-4 westbound in Seffner, and it's got the diamond on B5, J7. That's where we're going to find a permanent way station. This information right here. Florida also uses portable scales. Yes, we do. If you get pulled over by anybody, state trooper in an SUV, you just bought yourself a DOT inspection, because our state troopers also are double certified as DOT compliance officers. We've got restricted routes, and in Florida, we don't really have a lot of restricted routes, but there is one on I-95 to the Georgia state line, which is really US 17. So you'd really want to know that. So this information right here, this 13.6, that means it's if you're going under a bridge or something in Florida and it's not posted, it's going to be 13.6, so it'll be safe. They do have other ones that are posted. But every page has got their own, every state has got their own listing. And I'm just going to skip through And we're going to go to Oregon here. Oregon is going to be page 84 and 85. And the star locates the city. Theirs is 14 foot. Bold is 14 foot or less. Now, as we come up here, permanent way stations. Look at all of these permanent way stations. This is the state of Oregon, and they are pretty serious about their weights. They also use portable way stations. Most of them, when we zoom in, like 84, right up here. You got westbound, and you got eastbounds. So you're going to have one on each side of the road. Very few of them in Oregon are going to use the same scale for both travel directions. They're restricted routes right here. And what did we talk about earlier about Oregon? Is that you were only allowed off the road by 1 mile. So you really want to pay attention to this. Pennsylvania, they have a lot of low clearance restrictions. Their permanent way station, they only have one. And that's halfway in the state. And and their road restrictions. All right, I'm going to flip over here to, So again, just every single state's got that. Canada has got their own little section. And as we get out of the red area, which was the state information, we're going to go into the contents and legends. This is where we're going to find state, city map information. And I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. All right, so quick references. We can come here and pull up, Illinois, page 32 and 35, instead of flipping through the pages and finding it. Okay, we can just go right directly to the number. The city maps. So if I want to find Cincinnati, look, I'm going to go to page 80, and I should find it. The map legend is what I really want to talk about. This is some information that you need to know about. Way station, right? How's it? It's marked by a red circle with an arrow to it. Designated route for vehicles with standard authorized dimensions. What is the STAA authorized dimension? It is a commercial vehicle. So look at that orange line. You see the red one and then the bluish purple one. But you're always looking for that orange line. That orange line tells you it is safe for a commercial vehicle to be on. Our road symbols: limited access, multi-lane, free, or toll. We've got the purple line or the green line. This is a new road. Other multi-lane use roads, highway. See that orange marking around it? That means that we're good to go. Principal highway, I'd say we're probably still safe. Other through highways, I'd be really double checking it. We've got other roads, unpaved roads, I'd probably stay off unless I have specific instructions. Ramp and one-way routes, look at how it shows the ramp off. Car ferries, tunnels. Here's our interstate and highway businesses. U.S. highways, Canadian and American auto routes, Mexican highways, state and county roads. Those are the symbols. Here's your service areas on your tolls. Remember, tolls are going to be a green road. Interchanges and exit numbers. The 2 and the 10 are your mile markers, and that little tiny 6 in there tells you how many miles it is between the two exits. Highway distances. right here. Sorry about that. All these symbols mean something. You see that red arrow here and here? That red 9 coincides with those red arrows. The 2 on this side means 2 miles from that black dot to this line. The 3 is the space between the 2 lines, and the 4 is the black area right there. And if you add them all up, it should be around the 9. All right, cities and towns. The state capitals are going to be with a star around it. The seats, urbanized areas, separate counties. We're going to really look at that, when we turn the page to Miami. Again, this is all information that you want to know about. And even under parks and recreation, do I want to know about some of these? Well, sometimes these wayside and roadside parks are truck friendly, so yeah, I might want to know that. I definitely want to know about an airport because I have to stay out of those. As I come down, rest areas with toilet and without. So this one, the solid house, is got a toilet, without does not. I kind of want to know about physical features, and then here's some abbreviations down here. Want to know what a creek and a lake is? General information on your contents and your legends. Don't be afraid of this area, okay? As we come over into the next page, this is the United States, this is a topical map where it's showing mountains. This is I-80. You always hear me talk about I-80. I can pick I-80 up in San Francisco and travel it all across Nevada, and there's some mountains here into Utah, and this is this tannish area right here. These are the Rocky Mountains, and I-80 continues across, and then we're starting to get into the flatlands. I-80, we're still crossing it. Here's Chicago, still crossing. I-80 turns into a toll road with 90, sorry about that, and it continues. 80 and 90 split off right here in Cleveland, and we're continuing on. I-80 goes all the way to New York. That's why I liked I-80. This map, if you look at all the blue, is our interstate system. All of this are the interstate systems. The white lines going around identifies each state. There's the 4 corners. That's Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. Right there, 4 corners. The only place in the country you can stand on all 4 states. It does show a little bit of Mexico, and if we're up here at the top, we've got Canada. If you look at your time zones, it's listed up here at the top, and there is a little red line that follows down, and you can follow that all the way down through the state to find where your time zones are. In Florida, and I'm going to zoom this in, and we're looking for that time zone, and it is very hard to see, but it's on the just through Tallahassee, and I can't zoom in any farther. I'm sorry, guys. You will see that the time zone comes down on the border between Alabama and Georgia, and it continues down. Let me see if I can pull it up. Right there. It continues down, and it's very hard to see. It goes right through Tallahassee. So part of Florida is in Eastern time and Central time. So if you're going to Tallahassee, it's pretty important to know what time zone you're going to be delivering in. Right here is some map symbols again. 3-digit numbers. If the first digit is an even number, it's going to be a route through the city, or it's called a loop. It goes around the city. Let me see if I can pull it up in Atlanta. You see how the roadway kind of goes around the star? That is called a loop, and that is 285. And single digits with the odd number is a spur. And if we come back up here to Atlanta, you see where 985 is? It just dumps out. That is a spur. It just stops. You will see a lot of spurs and loops in Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio. Big areas for that. Coming back down here, 1 and 2 digit signs. It's telling you about if it's an even number, it's east-west, and if it's odd, it's going to be a north-south route. Business loops and business spurs. Lots of information that your GPS is not going to give you.